Welcome to the Mason-Dixon Racing Series brought to you by Pulse Graphics and Nikki's Garden. We are here at round number 8 in the series at Concord, North Carolina. And it looks like we don't have a huge field here tonight. We have 7 drivers in practice currently. We're taking away the final 4 minutes of practice. And we'll be doing some qualifying in a few minutes, and then a heat race and a 75 lap feature. So let's get you up to speed here with the Concord Motorsports Park. This is a 0.42 mile oval. It's kind of a tri-oval, really. It looks a little bit like a miniature version of Pocono. It's not quite that big. And it's not quite that fast. The car's currently running about 90 miles an hour top speed. It has a very short main straightaway, as you can see here, then a fairly wide turn 1, a short chute going back to turn number 2, and the turn number 3 is a little bit wider. The pit entry is before turn 3, so that makes for a fairly long pit lane with a pit speed limit of 30 miles an hour. That means that pit stops under green are going to cost them dearly. The ambient temperature here tonight in North Carolina is 65 degrees. We don't have any humidity. We have a partly cloudy sky and no winds to speak of. The track temperature is right around 105 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes for a fairly hot track, and that might hinder the drivers a little bit here tonight. The street stock cars in fixed setup seem to be a little bit loose on this track, so the guys are going to have to be a little bit careful getting back on the throttle when they come out of the turns. We're going to do a heat race here of, if I'm correct, 6 laps only, and then a feature of 75 laps. The yellow laps during the heat race will not count, so if there is a yellow during the heat race, that means it'll be extended. It'll be 6 laps of green flag racing. During the feature, the 75 lap feature, the yellow laps will count. So unfortunately, we have a fairly small field here tonight. That will not stop us from having some fun. And let's get you up to speed here with the season standings after 7 races. Last week we were in Phoenix, and that race was won by Ian Martin right in front of Thomas Axum. As you may recall, that was a very closely fought race. Kyle Harbin was 3rd. And in the standings, Ian Martin is still leading by 195 points, with 195 points, I should say. He's leading Kyle Harbin with 179. Then it's Carl Staten in 3rd with 178. Greg Wood with 171. Kyle Spencer and James Betts are tied with 153. Andrew Freeling with 143, then William L. Kayla 107, Greg Wood Sr. 98, and Bill Watkins 90. And the reason you don't see Thomas Axum in there is because Thomas Axum has been recently joining this series. He hasn't, I think he's only run 2 or 3 races, so even though he is doing very good in the races that he's been in, he still needs to catch up in the point standings. So, the track here has 14-degree bank turns. The straightaway is 10 degrees, and the backstretch is, I believe, 11 degrees. For tonight, the guys are only going to be given 2 sets of tires, so they're going to have to do the 75 lap feature on 2 sets of tires, and there are no fast repairs in this series, meaning that all this damage sustained during the race is going to have to be dealt with either by repairs in the pits or just running along with it. All right, so we are about to go into qualifying here. There'll be a 2-lap individual qualifying session of 5 minutes. And let's see if we have any takers on the track already. No, we do not. So we'll just wait here patiently until somebody gets their car out on track. It looks like Andrew Freeling is getting ready to go. and slowly rolling out here on Concord Speedway, getting ready for his qualifying attempt. It looks like Greg Wood is already out there as well in the 23 car, and he is going to be putting down a time here next time by. And as you can tell, it is a very, very short and oddly shaped track compared to what we're used to in this series. But that might actually spice things up a little bit. Greg Wood turning a very quick lap here, 17.4. That puts him on top of the time chart currently. And let's see if Andrew Freeling has already put in a lap. Yes, he did. 19.012 seconds, no less. That is quite a gap. And then we have Kevin Spencer coming out. James Badzer is already out there. And he has not yet posted a time. Let's go see if Freeling has improved his time. Yes, he has. An 18.15152. I'm sorry. Greg Wood is still in the lead here and he improved his lap time to a 17.238. So there. Let's go see James Badzer here. I think this is going to be his first lap time, 17.6. He moves himself up into second position. And let's see if there's any other people on the track currently. Kevin Spencer is still out there on the track. He has not posted a time. Let's go check on Badzer's second lap there, 17.7. It was not quicker. And Kevin Spencer is now out on track. And let's see what he can do. I would expect him to be close up there. And I believe these guys are not racing here all that often either. You can tell they're kind of searching for the lines to take, and that is not one of them. I can tell you that. That disqualifies Kevin's time for that lap, so he'll have to try again, and he should be able to post a second lap. And let's go see about Ian Martin here. He is putting in a 17.046. That puts him on the provisional pole here. In the 98 car, your leader in the championship, and you can see him drifting out of that turn. His second lap was not quicker, so it looks like the deck's been shuffled already for qualifying here. Thomas Axum is the final car out on track here, the number 13 car. Coming out of turn 3 here, there you can see the pit lane running alongside that turn 3. And Thomas is posting a 17.2, which currently puts him in the third position. Kevin Spencer still trying to get that second lap time in. Let's go take a look quickly at Axum, his second lap. And his second lap was not quicker, so he'll have to settle for third here. Kevin Spencer on his final attempt. His first lap was disallowed due to the spin. And as you can see here, turn 3 is going to give these guys trouble here tonight. Ooh. He's trying to salvage that lap there to get a lap time in, but iRacing did not take that. He did not get a lap time in here tonight, so he'll be in the final spot, the number 7 position, and that's a badly smoking car. Good thing we're not in the race yet. We don't want to see that because that means extensive repairs and probably even a retirement. Final 10 seconds of qualifying ticking away. We're going to get ready for the heat race. And we'll have to wait and see if the heat race will go ahead. We have 5 cars in the heat race here, and let's show you the grid real quick. Thomas Axum on the pole, Kyle Harbin on second, James Badzer in third, Andrew Freeling in the fourth position, and then it's Kevin Spencer in fifth. And it'll be up to Kevin Spencer here to improve his position in this heat race. That'll bring him back further into the field on the feature race. The first two cars are already in the feature race. They don't have to go through the heat race. They automatically qualify. And it looks like Kyle Harbin is making some noise here. Currently only 3 drivers on the track. There's Kevin. Let's see if we can find Thomas Axum. He is not yet gridded up. So it'll be a short race here, a short heat race, 6 laps, if I saw that correctly, and that'll take us right into the feature race for tonight. Unfortunately, the fields have been a little bit smaller lately, and I hope we can catch that back up again, because it's always more fun with more people. But nonetheless, we're going to try and give you some good racing here tonight. Cars are rolling off. We're getting ready for the heat race. I'm fairly sure we'll be doing 2 laps of warming them up. You'll see the guys going back and forth, left and right a little bit to warm up those tires. Like I said, this is a fixed setup race, meaning they can't change anything but the brake bias and the steering ratio. And that means they're all in equal equipment here. It'll be totally a driver's race. 2 sets of tires in the feature, as I said before, so limited rubber for these guys. Thomas Axum in the 13 car with Kyle Harbin on his outside, Badzer and Freeling on the second row, and Kevin Spencer in the 5th row. And we're getting ready to go here. You'll be here. They'll be waiting for the call on the radio, and there we go. It's Thomas Axum with Kyle Harbin right alongside him into turn 1. Thomas Axum takes the lead in front of Kyle Harbin, and then it's Freeling taking 3rd position. Now Badzer coming back on his inside, taking that 3rd position away from him. And look at Kevin Spencer already coming to the inside there of Andrew Freeling. Ooh, Freeling almost loses it there on that 3rd turn. You can see he's struggling a little bit to keep that back end straight behind the front end. And he's losing some ground already. Thomas Axum is doing it a little bit quicker here at the front. He is pulling away from Kyle Harbin, running a 17.33 lap time currently. And Kyle Harbin right behind him there, about second already between him. Kevin Spencer working his way up through this small field here, currently picking up 3rd position from James Badzer. And that's exactly what he needed after his qualifying that didn't go that well. So that'll hopefully bring him back a little bit further in the field of the feature race. So Kevin doing a good job here, walking away from James Badzer a little bit. James Badzer in 4th position. And it looks even like Kevin Spencer's running the quickest lap time of these 5 drivers here. So he's hoping to maybe even catch up with Kyle Harbin here on the final lap. They're going to get the white flag already. Thomas Axum is in the lead. You see Kyle Harbin behind him in the white car. Then it's Kevin Spencer in the orange car there. Then it's James Badzer in 4th, and Andrew Freeling is in 5th position. There we see Thomas Axum take the checkered flag for the heat race. Kyle Harbin is in 2nd. Kevin Spencer picks up that 3rd position with a fastest lap on the final lap even, and James Badzer in 4th, and Freeling there in 5th position, getting it a little bit wrong, trying to cross the line. And he needs to move the car forward just a little bit so we can finish the race. There you have it. He made it across the line. So let's bring up those heat results here quickly for you. Thomas Axum in front of Kyle Harbin, Kevin Spencer, James Badzer, and Andrew Freeling. And that'll bring us to the warm-up. We're going to do a short warm-up here before we get to the heat race. And with a small field like this, it really a little bit uh, unnecessary, but it's programmed in there. The race admin puts those things in there well ahead before we get this show on the road. So yeah, that'll give us a time to just catch our breath here a little bit, and we can bring back that race information for you. Once again, it's only 65 degrees here. It's a fairly cool evening. That, in fact, is actually a good thing. The cooler, the better for racing. And we have no humidity to speak of, no wind, partly cloudy sky. The track temperature is only 98 degrees. It's also not very high, and that's a good thing. We've already seen enough drivers getting a little bit in trouble with that rear end, wanting to step out a little bit. And so hopefully they can keep it all together during the feature race here. The race tonight is, like always, the Mason-Dixon Racing Series is brought to you by Pulse Graphics and Nicky's Garden. Their sponsorship for the series is much appreciated by drivers, admin, and broadcaster alike. We appreciate their support. And we see that was Andrew Freeling giving us a little bit of a ballet show, it looked like. He's having a little bit of trouble keeping that rear end behind him. And there you see him going in the pits. Not sure what to make of it, maybe. Let's go see how Ian Martin is doing. And it looks like Ian is currently running the quickest time, even quicker than in qualifying. He's trying out that high line there, seeing if there's any grip up there. With a very few cars in the field, it looks like it might be a little bit tricky to get this track rubbered in. I believe the starting state of the track was only 20% usage. That means that iRacing kind of calculates, a rubber line in there. In reality, in real life, that would be from previous races, for instance, and. A day after rain, for example, in real life, that washes all the rubber and all the dirt off the track. That's what we call a green track, and that means that drivers, once they get going, they'll have to rubber that track in by themselves as they're running laps, and that's usually a pretty tricky situation if you have no rubber on the track. So. With only 7 cars on the track, we're going to have to make do with what it is. It's not going to rubber in all that much. You can see Ian Martin, I'm kind of thinking he's just trying to either test out if there is any grip at all on that higher side, or he's just trying to lay down some rubber himself that might actually help him a little bit during the middle and later stages of the race. But 7 cars are not going to put down a whole lot. You can see that even Ian Martin has a little bit of trouble keeping that car headed in the right direction there. And behind him, that's Greg Wood. There you see the trouble, and those crashes can be painful if you hurt your car that way. That might leave doors open for other drivers, so you want to be careful doing that. See Kyle Harbin here in the white car here with the Citgo sponsorship. Andrew Freeling in the number 11 white car there. And I haven't seen Thomas Exum on track, and Kevin Spencer, I haven't seen him on track during this warm-up session. And as you can tell there, when the drivers get below that yellow line where the apron starts, that is also a little bit tricky. It usually swings your back end around way too easily, and it's very hard to catch. For those of you interested in iRacing and not yet there, this is part of the free content. This car is comes with iRacing. If you're interested in the NASCAR side of stuff, the stock car side of stuff, then this is what you start out in the rookie classes. It's called the street stock car. It's basically a very simple car, but it's not that easy to run. It's actually a pretty tricky car to run. All right, we finished the warm up and we're going to go get started on the feature race here. With Ian Martin on the pole position. Alongside him will be Greg Wood. Then Thomas Axum will be on the third spot, the spot that is still open. Then it's Kyle Harbin on the fourth position. The third row with Kevin Spencer and James Badzer there. And the final row with Andrew Freeling. So with that third position in the heat race, Kevin Spencer has moved himself up 2 spots in the starting order for the feature race. So we did some good business there, and we're anxious to see what these guys can do 75 laps. There is a championship on the line. Ian Martin is still leading that championship, and Thomas Exum is probably one of the guys that has good skills and good opportunities to close in on him. He started mid-season, so he's got a ways to go to catch up with Ian Martin. And Greg Wood is also one of the guys that we expect to do well. Kyle Harbin, third place, I believe, in the championship currently, so he can use a good finish as well. Small track would be quite a different story if you had a field of 25-30 cars here. But traffic is obviously not going to be that much of a factor here tonight. The pace truck is in, and we're going to be waiting for the call on the radio, folks. We're going to get this feature on the way. Ian Martin in front, Greg Wood alongside him, then it's Axum and Harbin on the second row, and we are racing, and it looks like Axum's already putting that bumper right up behind Ian Martin on that inside line. Greg Wood looking out a little bit on the higher side, also Kyle Harbin coming right alongside him and picking up that third position. Then it's Kevin Spencer trying to do the same thing. He picks up the fourth position now, and it looks like Greg Wood drops back to fifth position right in front of James Badzer there, with Andrew Freeling in the final spot. Up top it is Ian Martin, and you can see him coming into the turn a little bit sideways there, but he has good control over his car. It's Ian Martin running a 17.2. That's a tenth of a second quicker than Thomas Exum at this point. And it looks like Exum and Ian Martin are going to be duking it out here for the lead. You can see that Ian Martin number 98 car sliding around a little bit in the turns. It is a tricky track, and the turns follow each other extremely quickly. The chutes are very short, and there we have our first crash. That's Kyle Harbin, and I hope for his sake that he kept it out of the wall. Let's go take a look at what happens. He gets loose, he can't hold it, he taps the inside wall not very hard, so hopefully he can keep going again. We're not going yellow because the race line was not blocked. So Kyle Harbin back on his way, but he has now got a 4-second deficit on Andrew Freeling. And up top it's still Ian Martin and Thomas Exum running there for the lead, closely together. It looks to me like Thomas Exum is kind of being a little patient here. It's still very early in the race. There's no point in burning up your tires, fighting for the lead, so they're probably just thinking as long as we can keep the guys behind us at bay, we should be fine, and we'll duke it out near the end of the race. But it looks like Kevin Spencer is having some plans of his own. He is past Greg Wood for third position, and he is catching up with the leaders, although he taps the wall there fairly hard, I will say. Greg Wood in fourth, it's James Badzer in fifth, Andrew Freeling in sixth, and it looks like Kyle Harbin is catching up with Andrew Freeling fairly rapidly. After his spin, he was 4 seconds down. He's brought it back to less than a second, and he's catching up with Freeling rather quickly here. Ian Martin and Thomas Exum still out in front, and from the distance between them, it looks like Thomas Exum has a little bit of a challenge ahead of him tonight. Kevin Spencer seems to be closing in somewhat, and Greg Wood is hanging with Spencer with a little bit of distance, but he's got similar speed. Lap times are very close for all these four top drivers here. James Badzer is in the fifth position. His lap times are a little bit slower, about 3/10, 4/10 of a second slower, it looks like. Kyle Harbin is already past Andrew Freeling there for the sixth position, and Freeling therefore has dropped back to the seventh position again. And it looks like Freeling is going to fall victim to being lapped fairly soon. There you see the leaders in the rear coming at you, and that is Ian Martin putting in a quickest lap time of 16.95. Thomas Axum still not under the 16-second mark, but Kevin Spencer is also under that 17-second mark. So it looks to me like Spencer has found his groove, and he found his rhythm here really nicely. He's closing in on Thomas Axum, and he wants more out of this race. There we see Andrew Freeling going a little bit wide for the leaders, making way for Ian Martin. Now it's going to be Thomas Axum and Kevin Spencer on the inside there, and Freeling giving them room to race there. That is a good sportsmanship. That's the way we like to see it. Unfortunately, it means that Andrew's chances are somewhat slim, but maybe he can catch up if there's a yellow or if there's an incident on the track. Maybe he can time his pit stops in a way that will benefit him. So Thomas Axum looks like he's got Kevin Spencer closing in on him. There you see the big smiley face on the orange car, and that is the Kevin Spencer's livery that you're looking at. You can see that the right side has a little bit of damage from scraping that wall earlier, but it looks like he can stay with Thomas Axum really nicely here. Let's go inside his car here and ride along with Kevin Spencer. He's looking at the black and yellow number 13 of Thomas Axum. You can hear those tires scrape over that asphalt by the flag stand on the main straightaway into turn 1 here. Looks like the track is a little bit bumpy as well. And coming back through 2, and then it's turn 3 that brings him back to the main straightaway. On your left you see that pit lane entry. Kevin Spencer is doing a really nice job here, staying with Thomas Axum, and in the distance it looks like Ian Martin is running away from these guys. Let's check on Ian Martin here. He is going to be lapping Kyle Harbin shortly. We saw Kyle Harbin have that little spin earlier on, and he is hanging on there. His lap times are pretty good, actually. He's matching the lap times of the leaders, maybe but for 2/10 of a second. So he's definitely not that slow. But obviously it's a short track, and at the pace that Martin is running, he is bound to be catching everybody. And obviously that would have been a bigger issue for him if there would be 20 to 30 cars on the track. Then it would be a traffic jam like we see in New York City and Los Angeles. Thomas Axum is hanging on to that second place, and it looks like Kevin is having a little bit more trouble. He must have used up some of his tires quite a bit already trying to get to him. And obviously that if you ask too much of your tires trying to make speed to get somewhere, that's going to hurt you at a later stage. Obviously those tires are not going to last forever, and part of the deal in this series is that they give them limited amounts of tires, so they all have to manage that stuff and make sure they're capable of having speed without burning everything up. And that is not easy. I can tell you that from my own experience. That is not easy. I'm not a regular on the NASCAR style racing. I do it every once in a while, but in every class of racing, it's true that if you overdo it on your tires, you're paying for it later. And the trick is in every race to find a balance between longevity and speed. Taking care of your equipment, that is half the battle. There we see Freeling going down another lap. Number 11 car here. He's running wide and letting the faster cars by. That is good sportsmanship. That's the way things should be run in racing. Greg Wood going by him there. He's hanging on to 4th position. Let's go check on James Batzer here in 5th. He is running about 10 seconds behind Greg Wood currently. And then Kyle Harbin also among the lap drivers already. And it looks like on track he has been lapped by Martin, and he will be lapped by Thomas Exum fairly quickly. Let's check on Ian Martin here. He was very quick in the beginning, and that makes you wonder how he is managing those tires, but Ian Martin is very, very smooth with that car. We've seen him do it very often in this series already. He knows how to be smooth in the turns and fast, and meanwhile taking care of that equipment. And like I said, that is the biggest challenge for those drivers out there, to keep that equipment in one piece. Make sure you take care of your stuff, your car, your tires, and that's how you win races. And Ian Martin has that figured out. Very, very good. Thomas Exum in the 2nd position. He is still chasing after Kyle Harbin here. Kyle Harbin is not, he may be a lap down by now, but he's not slow. He's running good lap times, and it looks like he's just hanging on and hoping that maybe if a yellow comes, the field will get bunched up again and he'll have another shot at this. Obviously, when there's less cars on the track, the odds of a yellow become a little bit slimmer. There's less cars that can mess it up, so to speak. So that might be a little bit of a tough night for Kyle Harbin here tonight. Ian Martin is now currently 2.75 seconds ahead of Thomas Exum in that number 13 car. And so Ian Martin is doing a very good job once again at the top of the order here. There you see Thomas Exum going by the lapped car of Kyle Harbin, the number 34 car there. And you can see that Kyle Harbin is not being overrun. He stays with that car of Exum fairly good. He's running similar lap times. So it's not like he's doing a bad like he's having a bad night. Not at all. Ian Martin is already coming back at Andrew Freeling once again. Freeling up in the high side, and the leaders can obviously appreciate the back markers staying high and giving them way, but you don't have to slow down that much. You don't have to give up your entire race just to let the leaders go by. So if I was Andrew Freeling, I'd try to keep that car up to speed and run a higher line without slowing down that much. But obviously that's not my call to make here, and Andrew Freeling is doing as best as he can, I'm sure. Thomas Exum also dealing with the back markers here. There you go. That looked a lot better here. Andrew is not completely being overrun at this point. He stays fairly high. He could take that middle lane, come down a little bit. And it looks like James Batzer has dropped to the 6th position, and Kyle Harbin has taken over that 5th position as he is tugging along with Thomas Exum. He is he's a little bit quicker than James Batzer at this point, and that's how he got 5th position back. So Kyle Harbin trying to make up for lost time after that early spin there. We're already on lap 43 of 75. It looks like with a small field here, it's going to be a quick night for the Mason-Dixon Racing Series. Next week, we're going to be doing a totally different animal. We're going to go to the Charlotte Roval, meaning that we're going to not just do the Charlotte Speedway, where we're going to go to the infield and race on the road course there as well. So it's partly the oval and partly the road course on that track. And with these cars, I am going to be very interested how that is going to turn out, because these cars are, these cars are really not made for turning right. So we'll have to. I'm already looking forward to that race next week on Charlotte Roval. Ian Martin still in the lead. Thomas Exum still in third. He is about 4 seconds behind Martin now, and Greg Wood is in third, running about 5 seconds behind Exum. It's Kevin Spencer that obviously has lost a little bit of time from Greg Wood. He's fairly close behind there, as you can see. Let's ride along with Spencer for a little bit, and it looks like he still has a good thing going, looks to me. It might be a little bit of damage on the right side of that car. We know he scraped the wall earlier, and he's keeping up with Greg Wood pretty good. Let's bring out that dashboard for you so you can see for yourself what the speeds are in these turns and on these straights. The main straightaway here, we're getting up to about 95 miles an hour, then we're dropping back to about 80 in the turn. The second turn's a little bit quicker. Ooh, it looks like Badzer got in trouble there a little bit. We're reaching about 100 miles on that backstretch, back in onto the main straightaway. That is a lap with Kevin Spencer in the 4th position of the race. Let's go check on Badzer. It looked to me like he was getting in trouble a little bit. Now he's hanging with Spencer very good. But that is not for position because Kyle Harbin is still in there somewhere. James Badzer is, I would say about 17, 18 seconds behind Kyle Harbin in the 5th position. So Spencer and Badzer are not racing for position here. But it looks like Badzer has refound his groove. Once again, we saw him slip sliding a little bit earlier, and it looks like he's back into the things again. He's got some damage on that right side as well. I'm fairly sure he scraped the wall somewhere. Ian Martin still in front, and he is looks like he's keeping that advantage over Exum fairly stable here now. Greg Wood is losing a little bit of ground on Thomas Exum. He is now about 6 seconds behind, and then it's Kevin Spencer right on his tail by about a second or so. And again, that is James Badzer right behind Spencer, but that is not for position. Kyle Harbin is the driver in 5th place, and he's got about a 14-second deficit on Spencer. And Badzer is, I believe, oh, it looks like Badzer hits the wall there. Let's check on that real quickly here. Yeah, it looks like Badzer comes off the turn a little bit too wide, and he taps the wall. Luckily, he can keep it going. He is still running there, and it looks like he doesn't even lose all that much speed compared to Kevin Spencer. So if you look on the track, James Badzer is in 6th. So if you move one car up, that's Kevin Spencer in 4th. Then you move up another car, that's Wood in 3rd. And then you see Andrew Freeling and Kyle Harbin. Ian Martin is still your leader. He is leading Thomas Exum still by about 4 seconds, a little bit over that, but it's staying about the same. And it looks to me like Greg Wood is not keeping the same pace as Thomas Exum is. He is about 7.8 seconds behind Exum. Kevin Spencer seems to be keeping that distance to Greg Wood about the same, about a second, and he has Freeling in between there now. Freeling is a lapped car. But it looks like Kevin Spencer has lost Badzer. He's further back now. He's having a little bit more trouble keeping up. There you see Spencer once again. He's past Freeling now. So the car in front of him, that is Greg Wood, the black car, and that is for position. It looks like the distance between these guys has grown to about 1.3 seconds. That is the fight for 3rd position. And they are in total, Kevin Spencer is in total about 14 seconds behind the leader. And that tells me that Ian Martin has to be showing up in his mirrors to lap him pretty soon. And And if you look closely, let's see if we can bring that into view. Yep, they're up top in turn 3. That was Ian Martin coming at him already. So he's about 3 seconds away of Martin at this moment, and then Martin will put a lap on him. It looks like this Spencer has caught up to Greg Wood now. Greg Wood, oh crap! Greg taps the wall there, and also those tires look may have had better times. We're already on lap 66, and we have not seen a single driver in the pits for that second set of tires. And with no yellows, I don't blame him. Pitting under green would be a fairly costly thing here tonight. So they're staying out, and they're going to make it on that one set of tires, I'm sure. Ian Martin is still well out in front, 4.8 seconds on Thomas Exum. There you see Thomas. And then Greg Wood is about 10 seconds behind Thomas Exum, but he has Kevin Spencer right here on his tail. This is how it looks from Kevin's car. And it looks to me like that the track on that inside line is a little bit bumpy. You see the rev limiter light going on there. Kevin Spencer hanging with Greg Wood. Ooh, it looks like Greg Wood runs a little bit higher line there. There you see Kevin closing in just a little bit. And I do believe that Craig runs off of turn 1 a little bit higher there, trying to get some momentum into turn 2. Turn 1 and 2 just really follow up each other really quickly. Like I said, it's not a very long track. There you have those guys duking it out. That's for 3rd position in the race. We're on lap 72, so we only have 4 laps to go. It looks like the 96 of Spencer is now trying to put some pressure on there, hoping to get that podium position from Greg Wood. Now he's going to be looking at the inside. Can he do anything? He's not quite close enough. Laps are ticking away quickly now. He's going to have to get it going here if he wants that podium spot. It looks like Greg Wood has decided to defend a little bit by running a little bit faster and walking away from him by about 2 car lengths. Let's see if Kevin can do anything here. Going into lap 74 currently. Oh, we're already going into lap 75. That means the white flag is out, and Ian Martin, he's right behind those guys. Ooh, it looks like Greg Wood got a little loose off the turn there, trying to defend for 3rd position. And it's Kevin Spencer that does take away that 3rd position on the line. And actually, they are still running, because it was Martin right behind him that took the checkered flag, and it is Kevin Spencer that brings it home here in 3rd position. They were almost a lap behind Martin. That's why it was a little bit confusing there, but it is definitely Ian Martin that takes the win here tonight. It's Thomas Exum, then Kevin Spencer brings it home in 3rd in front of Greg Wood, Kyle Harbin, James Batzer, and Andrew Freeling. So with no yellows, that was done fairly quickly, I would say. Let's bring up those results here for you. Let's go check and see if somebody's burning up a car. That is Ian Martin there, putting it against the wall and running those tires to the ground. There you see his rear end. He is running those tires completely down here. Let's see if he's going to be adding some donuts to the feast here. Well, he's going to go backwards. That is your winner, Ian Martin, celebrating in his own style here. So let's bring up those results for you, folks. And the Dixon Racing Series, round number 8 at Concord Speedway in North Carolina, won by Ian Martin. Thomas Exum is your second place driver. He hung with Ian Martin in the beginning fairly good, and ultimately it was Martin just doing a little bit better of a job. He was 6 seconds behind at the line. Kevin Spencer brings it home in third, barely taking away that third spot from Greg Wood after chasing him down all race long. So good job for Kevin Spencer. Greg Wood in fourth. 18 seconds behind the winner. Then it's Kyle Harbin, 1 lap down. James Badger is 2 laps down. And Andrew Freeling is your final running driver at 5 laps down. Unfortunately, a bit of a small field here tonight, but nonetheless, a decent race for the guys. Ian Martin showed that he was in control here. We saw a good fight for the third position there at the end between Kevin Spencer and Greg Wood. Once again, we want to acknowledge the support of our sponsors Pulse Graphics and Nicky's Garden. Their support for Mason-Dixon Racing Series is much appreciated. As I mentioned before, next week we're going to be going and doing a completely different thing in the series for a change. We're going to be turning left and right instead of just turning left, and we're going to be doing so at the Charlotte Roval. The Roval is basically a road course combined with an oval, so part of the oval will be used. Then the infield will have a loop of road course racing that brings us from the main straightaway at Charlotte to the infield, then back to the oval. And there's also a very tricky chicane right before the end of the lap. So it'll be very interesting to see what we're gonna be looking at next week. As I said, these cars were designed to turn left. These are oval cars, and they are not at all designed to turn right. So I'm going to be very curious to see how this works. I personally have never done that with that car on a roval or any kind of road course. I've only done ovals with this street stock car, so I would not be able to tell you how this is going to look. But we'll find out next week, same time, a different place. We'll continue our championship with the ninth round in Charlotte Roval, and we hope to see you there. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark, and we thank you for tuning in. Once again, thank you to the sponsors, Pulse Graphics and Nicky's Garden. We hope to see you next time at the Mason-Dixon Racing Series.